Hi, I'm Gordon Williams with Zion Blacksmith School, and we're going to do a kind of a quick video, I hope, on making this hummingbird. He kind of turns out, I don't know if you can see him, something like this little guy. Okay, I don't know who exactly invented this, but I remember I first saw it from Bill Epps from Texas. And again, we all do some things a little different, so maybe there's one thing that I do different that he didn't do, blah, 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 that you like. But anyhow, let's get ahead and go through it, and we'll go through these steps. First step is going to be splitting this. I'm going to split halfway through, turn it over, and split the other half through. To open it up like a V, I'll close it up, and then I'll do a single split for the wings. So you can see the back tail is unsplit, and the top is split. This is 3/8 by about, I'm going to probably use 6-7 inch piece by 3/8 square. For this size of bird, I wouldn't make my split any longer than 1 inch. 1 1/8 1/4 is too long, kind of out of proportion. So if you need to, you can put a little center punch mark so you know where to stop. It seems like even though in a class beginning, they'll split a little farther than that, and it gets a little out of proportion. Probably tomorrow or something, I'll do the dragonfly, which follows this to a degree. All right, I'm going to get started. We're going to use of course, a hammer, a hot cut chisel, curved, narrow, guillotine fuller, and a small cross peen, small and narrow cross peen to do the feathering with. Okay, and that's our tools. All right, let me fire up. All right, I'm going to go ahead and split this for 1 inch halfway through. I'll turn it over and then split it clear through till it opens up like a V. You want to split from both sides, so each side's basically the same thickness. Okay, so using the hold down, I'm just going to get it out here. I always tap my steel down, making sure it makes contact. I've squatted down, finding my center, and I'm going to go ahead and walk my 1 inch mark in there, and I'm going to set it about halfway through. Okay, so I'm basically halfway through the steel. Center cut. We have a cutting video. Basically, I'm halfway through. I'm going to turn it over now, and you can see when you're looking at this side, you'll know where to stop, because you'll see that the sides are proud. They stick out. So I'll just stop there and we'll finish our split. All right, let's do the other side of this now. We'll split this clear through. So I'm going to always tap down. I'm going to drop my rear end and look under my chisel, get my middle mark, and I'm going to go ahead and make it right there, rear end. I'll split it clear through and open it up. Okay. I'll close this up too. I don't hit the anvil because as I split this one through, as I go back through this way, I start in the back of the cut, making it deep. It'll open up back here, but this is still touching or intact. So that way, when it opens up, it doesn't hit the anvil, and then it just separates. Sometimes if you start out here separating, you'll hit the anvil and have to fix your chisel. I'm going to go ahead and just tap this back straight, and we'll go ahead and cut the other side. I think I have one in here ready for that. So I'm going to do the wing split, which is, I'm only splitting, I'm going to tap these together just so they lay flat. And I'm going to do a single split down the center. I'd like for this one to be really accurate. Okay? And it'll try to fall off itself a bit. And I'll tell you why. In here. Okay? And you can see this, one of them likes to fall off, and that is because what we have, let me get it tacked back together. We have that. That's intact. That'll be the wings. That'll be the tail. And I just tap it together. So now we have a cut here You'll see that two wings and the bottom's the tail. They're 1 inch long. My cuts basically all terminate in the same place. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is find a kind of a rounder edge of my anvil. I want to be sure that the cuts are just off of the anvil. Not way off, but just off. I'm going to square up to my anvil, making a right angle. And I'm going to bring this steel down. The square is 3/8 now down to about 5/16. So as I bring it down and narrow it to 5/16, then I'll turn it on the diamond or the diagonal up, make an octagon. It's always square, octagon, round, and round the head area up here. You don't want to leave. When you round this up, you want to be rounded right to the split. Try not to get into the split, but be right at the split. If you leave a little square hump, your bird's going to have shoulder pads. Won't look that good. Okay, go to the next one. All right, so where we're at, we've done the splits. We're going to hang this off the anvil, the splits, and we're going to round up right in front of the splits. Make it square to about 5/16, then octagon, and then round that up. That's going to become his neck and his head on the heat after this. So we're going to work this right now, okay? Again, I didn't leave a big old square block in front of the splits. All right, let me get started here. Okay. I'm going to hang off the anvil, check my splits. Take that down. Reduce the material away so I can get to the head. Okay. I'm going to keep it, make it octagonal, keeping the wings kind of together. Octagonal, and then I'm going to round it up. Okay. Just going to clean that up. Keep it kind of straight. Don't let anything get too out of crooked or too crooked. Kind of keep things kind of straight. Things can be kind of crooked, but they can't be kind of straight. Either straight or they ain't. Okay. So I'm basically there. So I've rounded this area up. Now I'm going to use the guillotine fuller. Okay. And I'm going to do a neck fuller for his neck. We put it right at the splits. Just seeing the splits. So it's going to be there. I'm going to move my fuller then and isolate where the beak's going to be. I'm not going to go too deep on either one of them. When I do his neck, I kind of have a ring. When I move to the head part, so I move from here to here, what I see under the fuller, it looks like my fuller is sitting on top of his head because what's happening is underneath. A little hard to explain. If I see a big head out there, I'll have a big watermelon head. So I'm going to fuller here lightly and then move it and fuller here lightly. You'll notice that when I'm using the guillotine fuller on this, I will rotate my tongs every hit. So watch my tong hand over here. You can see it. Every hit, back and forth. Okay, and then I'll move to the head. Be able to watch what you're doing. Don't let it get too cold. It'll bounce around and you'll end up hitting his head, which won't be good. Okay, so let me get him hot and do that. Okay, we're going to isolate the neck and the head on the guillotine fuller. Okay, so I'm going to be right at the splits for his neck. Rotating my tong. That's about good. I'm going to be sitting right on top of his head. Hummingbird teeth. Let's look at it. Yeah, that's about right. That's a big head. Okay. So what we have is we have a neck and a head. A little big on the head. But now I'm going to open these wings up. So this uncut piece is his tail. And that split, I've split down to the tail there. I'm going to open these up. I'm going to show you one that I don't like. I'm going to put his tail in the vise, grab it with my tongs, open it up with a chisel, grab it with the tongs and pushing with the inside tong to keep a radius bend in the wing right here. If you just grab the wing and do this, it'll make a right angle, that'll be a wrinkle, and that wing will crack off. So you have to have a radius, and I'll show you what that looks like in the top of the wing. Do them hot. If you've gone this far, don't do nothing cold. You'll end up cracking something. Okay? I'm going to show you what I mean. So this one's turned, I just kind of bent it. It can even go worse. This wing could crack right there. It just got bent down, kind of a right angle, a wrinkle. Wrinkles become cracks. So this one, see that radius? Better hold it so you can see it. Sorry, this one's right angle, just kind of bent down. That will probably crack right there, could. This one has a radius. I pushed my inside of my tong in as I bent, like that. Watch, trying to keep a radius. So this one's not good, that one's good. Okay, let's give it a try. I'm going to move the vise so you can probably help see it. Okay? And what I'm going to do is clamp his tail in the vise, quickly get my chisel in there and tweak open the wings, grabbing the wing with my tongs and tweaking it open. If I lose heat, I'll get another heat. Don't mess things up at this point. Okay, here we go. I like to find my tail, which is the wide uncut piece, in the fire. Sometimes I get out and there's all these splits. I can't find it right away. So I found my tail, what I'm going to clamp in the vise. I'm going to clamp the tail only. Okay, I'm going to tweak these open a little bit, and I'm going to get them pulled open with a radius. Okay. So I've got it kind of both of them tweaked open. And now what I'm going to do, and I'll show you on the bird here, is I'm going to point, okay? I'm going to point just the tips of the wings, okay? I want to leave as much material in the wing as I can, because I've got to make feathers eventually out of that. So just pointing just the tips. You'll see my hammer at an extreme angle. I'll actually be hitting the anvil, but it's a little light hammer. I want to just get it to a point on the tips, leaving as much material right in here as I can. All right. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to point the tips of his wings. I've moved to a small hammer. I'm going to do it right here. Now, when I'm using this and I want a lot of control on my head and I want an angle blow versus holding it in here, I'm going to hold it close to the head and I'm going to put my thumb on the inside and push so it creates that angle that I want. That way I can control this mass. And I'm going to get down low for me and I'm going to angle it this way, angle it that way, making a little short square point. All right, here we go. Okay, holding the bird up in the air. I'm going to come in and just get the tip down. And you'll hear me hit the end, but it won't hurt anything. It's a light hammer, hardly anything. I have to do it here because I can't find any other spot that works. Yeah, I'm about there. Okay, good enough. Oops, let me get that right down so you can see it better. Okay, so I've made little points on there by hitting here, turning it there, hitting here and there. So now, what I'm going to do is fishtail or flare the tail. This is usually where, when you're first starting, it goes south. You haven't done a lot of crossbeat. I'm going to be directly on top of my horn, not over the edge, but right on top. And I'm going to hit it at an angle blow. And this is where, even though I tell them this in the class, if I'm not there to help them for a second, I'll look over and they're hitting with a flat bow. Look at my hammer face. Well, a flat blow will make it a square tail, and it'll be flat with no definition. Might as well just hit it with that. An angle blow, and I'm only hitting this corner. I'm not trying to hit the whole tail. I'm hitting, if you can see that, just like that on the tail. You hit it hard in the center, an angle blow, and it's going to go deep and feather. It'll have natural feathers. You have to make it. As I go in the center of this, I'm going to go right in the center, best I can. It'll start to spread away from my hammer, making a fan or a fishtail. At that point, I'm not going to move my hammer to finish that. It'll have this little funky, little flared out end. I'm going to move the bird under my hammer. So my hammer stays in one spot and my bird moves. So I usually go in the middle, get it to flaring at an extreme angle. I move to this side, stop, go back to the center, hit, and move to that side. Versus I don't usually work my hammer back. I don't go this way and work back. I go this way, stop, back to the center, moving my steel, come this way. Okay? Hit it hard while you got thickness of steel. If you just peck at this lightly, you might as well use your flat hammer. Because once you get it thin, you can't put any feathers in it. There's no material left. So you have to hit it hard and at an angle. That angle is super important. Hitting it hard and at an angle. They want to go flat, and so you might want to practice on a piece of wood or clay, driving it deep. But it's a lot of angle. My hammer is making contact only in that corner or edge of that tail, not on the whole piece of tail, right there. Okay, let's get it down. This bird only takes 10 minutes, normally. Okay, we're going to make the tail. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to be right on top of my horn. I'm going to get low, choke up on my hammer, a lot of angle, work the center, work it that way, stop, and then that way. Okay? Here we go. So I've got my hammer close, I'm down low, hitting it hard, and I'm going to work it. Okay, I'll give it a little bit of a fan. Okay. So we've got a little fan going, fishtail. Now I'm going to work the wings, and I'll talk about that. This is where I got a little glass in my fork sticking to that tail. This is definitely a small target. It's only 3/8 of an inch square steel. So I'm going to choke up. This is a directional hammer. If I hit it this way, the wing just shoots out and goes long. Okay, it's going to push away from the hammer. What I want to do is try to get right in the center of the wing and clip it, hit it the center, keep hitting it until the material starts to come back to me. I'm going to pull the material back, and then at that point, once I got material for the wing, I go from a straight, look at my hammer, how flat the head is. I pull back, and then I'm going to make feathers. Look at the angle, towards the bird, angle. Pull back, and angle, driving feather marks in. Because what we'd like to see is, you see, I pulled the material back, and then I angle my hammer to make those. And pull it back, angle, make those. All right, feet are done. Okay, so we're going to start out with a flat-faced hammer blow. See, my hammer's flat-faced. In the center of the wing, try to leave the top of the wing intact. Don't hit up there. Hit it and pull material down so you've got a wing shape, and then go from this flat face, see how flat my hammer is, to this angled face like this. And those will put the feather marks in. So pull down flat, angle towards the bird that way to get the feathers. All right, here we go. Again, I've choked up on my hammer. I put my thumb on the inside to give me the angle I want, especially when I start to make my feather shape. Okay. I'm going to get low, so I'm blind, and I'm going to pull this wing back to me, good, and angle. Okay, I'm going to push this one back. Good, go ahead and get my wings about right. And so that's what I'm getting. Okay. I pull material back, and then I angle it. Pull it back, flat face, and then angle it. Now, I did this one here. This is comfortable for me. This one, I had to push the material that way. You could go over to this side. I just don't. And pull the material back. I just get backwards on the feathers. So I have a lot of, this one pulls back this way. I turn it around and I push that one back and feathered it. One time we had a student and he got to this part. This is the part, if I'm not there, they either hit it too slow usually or too light, so they make it just flat, but it takes them 4 heats. And then the biggest thing is they don't put enough angle on their hammer, on the tail or on the feathers. They're flat-faced. So they're just making a flat thing without any definition, but it takes them a lot of heats. Okay? So he was struggling at this. I didn't quite catch him on the critical part. I usually have one in the fire with you, keeping real time, but he got doing something. He was doing a couple things. So he walked over to the power hammer and bam, 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 had this little bird like that, and we cut tire tracks across him just right. Okay, so now that I got feathers, I'm going to go back in with my guillotine fuller, and I'm going to isolate the beak area, the beak and the head, I'm going to isolate this, taking it down to about 1/8 of an inch or a little heavier, and then I'll cut that off and draw the beak out. We'll be done. Okay, here we go. Going back to my bigger hammer, I just got to be careful I don't cut it off. Okay. Hold on. Okay, so I'm in the front one, not the neck one. I'm in the farthest one towards the stock. And every hit I moved it. And then I'm going to check so I don't get too thin. Yeah, I don't want to cut it off. I'm about there. Hear my hammer lightening up. Just get it going until I like it. About right there. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, that'll work. So now he's kind of got a big head. I don't usually make them quite that big, but I did. I'm going to cut him off just right there, just on the other side of the floor, not way back here. I only need a little bit, and then I'm going to draw his beak out. Okay, let's get that done. Okay, I'm going to put the bird just off the aluminum. I'm only putting the spot I'm going to cut on the aluminum, because as I'm cutting, the bird's going to try to flex up, come up. I keep knocked down. If you ever take that bird, he flares up, makes a right angle, you knock him down, that's a crack. Anytime you make a right angle, open it back up, it usually has a crack. So I'm just going to chop that off now. I'm going to put him on the aluminum. Okay, just barely. First down. And I'm going to cut that little piece off. He's going to try to fly. Okay? So here's what we got. Ready to draw the beak out. It's not very much. In fact, that's probably more sometimes than I have, but he has a fat head. So I'm going to draw this out to a square point, then octagon round, and that's a law of forging. Even though I want a round beak, it's always draw it to dimension square, turn it on the diagonal or the corners up, take those off and make an octagon, and then round it up. If you try to round something out here to a point, that'll just twist that right off. Keep this hot. Now, I just hold them under the fire like this till it's hot, and then I come work them. Okay? Just get her done. Okay, I'm going for a beak. I'm going to have kind of a rounder edge. I never like to use a real sharp edge. That'll put a line in it, and that becomes a crack. So I've got a light radius edge, small hammer. Got to get a hold of the little fella in the fire here. So here I am. I'm going to get down. And I'm going to use kind of a slithering blow. Get that material out there. I'm going to keep it hot. I'm starting to pull it out. If you get it working too black, it'll crack. it gets work hard and you get a cold shut. So just hold it in there, keep them hot. It only takes a second to heat up, and we'll keep working it. Okay? Usually takes me 3 beats for this. Getting this beak out. Another one, because I got to keep it hot. It doesn't take too long, but I don't want to break it down. It's still going square. I haven't tried to round it yet. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay, I'm kind of liking it, I think. Blind as I am. We'll go one more to get it round. I took the corners off. We'll talk about why some things break in a minute after I get this done. Why the beak break. Okay, I'm gonna round whenever I have a taper that I'm rounding. I've already taken the corners off, made it an octagon basically. I finish from the smallest part and work to the thickest. I don't go back and forth usually. It's, ooh, that's pretty done. Pretty done, finished, done. Okay? So I'm gonna just keep it into this beak now. Working up the beak. Cleaning it up. Keeping it centered. I'm there, I'm just kind of getting them to line up through the middle. Okay, get this straight. Okay. Straight as it ain't. So I'm getting a little beak out there, okay, on the bird. Okay. What happens if you, when you're starting to round, and I'm getting blind, I hate to say, if you don't get all the square off, so you've made it a square point, turn it on the diamond, made an octagonal, and you put a square on the anvil while you're rounding, it will twist in the square. That twist can become a break. Okay, I need to clean that up just a little bit. One more time, now that I can hold it up and look at it. One more time. And then I'm going to go ahead, I don't see my wire brush, block brush. I usually block brush it and put the brass on it right there, the demo. These get really fast after you've done them a little bit. They're a little slow sometimes at first. People think, oh, that just took a long time. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'll clean them up and we'll look at them. Okay, I've given them a little brushing. I don't want them too hot to put the brass on or it just melts off. So I'm just going to take the brass brush and that'll here melt on, give it a little bit of Walmart. Call it the Walmart finish, but people like it. This is a golden Himalayan hummingbird. Only found on the south side of the Himalayas. That's why he's this golden color. They sell for $10 more. Okay, so we have the little hummingbird. There they are. I'd probably hold them still. You could probably see them. Okay. Anyway, thank you. God bless. I hope you have happy foraging today.